Hello and welcome to another Action Figure Adventures video. Today, Baby Skeletor and I are taking a look at the Feburary figures from MattyCollector's Club Eternia subscription. First up, we've got Ninja Warrior, aka Ninjor. For those of you that are fans of the classic series, he's an awesome ninja character. He's kind of demonic evil ninja guy, which is an interesting character for He-Man. And in addition to that, we have the much-awaited 2000X cartoon series 2-pack. It's King Hssss. Battle Armor King Hssss, as they call him here, and Snake Armor He-Man, which is the armor he wore in the last season of the cartoon series when he was battling the Snake Men. And first time we've gotten a 2000X style head for He-Man, so that's really awesome. Here's a quick shot of Ninjor in the package. The back of his box. There's his bio, in case you want to read it, hit the pause button. Snake Armor He-Man and Battle Armor King Hssss in the package. The back of their box. Hit the pause button for Snake Armor He-Man's bio. Battle Armor King Hssss. Alright, here's all three of these guys out of the package, and I'm super excited to have these three. What a great month for MattyCollector. We're going to start by taking a look at the Snake Armor He-Man, then we'll move on to Battle Armor King Hssss, and we'll finish up the review with Ninja Warrior. Here's a little bit closer look at Snake Armor He-Man. He has that armor that's reminiscent of gladiators with the shields on just one side of his body. The arm is all armored up. His one leg is all armored up, while the other side of him is a little bit more unprotected. He's got cool armor. Almost sort of reminds me of a kilt in some ways, the way it's all designed. Very 2000X. Alright, he's got the longer, more surfer-style hair from the 2000X series. You can see his chest piece here has the strap sort of like the traditional He-Man armor. So it sort of flows that design into the new armor, which I think is really cool. He-Man has this cool pincher accessory that he can use to battle the Snake Men. It is actually a removable piece. So if you don't want that sticking out, you can take it out. It's too bad they couldn't articulate it, but I kind of understand. But in the movie, or in the cartoon, it kind of moves, opens and closes like a pincher for him to grab the Snake Men by the neck while he's fighting them. Snake Armor He-Man also comes with a electronic power sword, as it's often referred to now. It was just the power sword in the 2000X cartoon. But in the Motu Classics version of the story, it's a special sword that's made later on. I really like his new gauntlet piece here, too. He's got this cool Snake Man symbol with the sword going through it on his belt. And I really like the green boots he comes with that have some new armor plating on them. He-Man has the ability to store his power sword on his back. Here's a quick side-by-side shot of the original 2000X He-Man and this new Motu Classics Snake Armor He-Man. The Four Horsemen did a great job on both these figures, and I think it's neat that they made this guy back in 2003 and then have now done a tribute head to the original figure in 2015. I've been slowly making a 2000X style He-Man using Motu Classic parts, sort of a mix and match custom figure here. It's got Battle Cat with Battle Lion's armor, King Grayskull with a He-Man head, shield, axe, and the power sword electronic version that came with the weapons pack. And now I finally have a head that looks more like it should, a little more authentic. And now on to King Hssss. Alright, here's that Battle Armor King Hssss. And I feel like his design took a little bit of cues from the Egyptian pharaohs, kind of like the Sorceress in the 2000X series. Just something about his headdress always made me feel that way. He comes with a Snake Man staff and a Snake Man shield. And he's got a lot of great new details. I think he's a really interesting reuse of parts as well as some new parts. At the beginning of the Masters of the Universe Classic series, they were really trying to stick to a unified theme. They kind of got away from it as they've done more of the cartoon accurate characters from Filmation and the 2000X. This guy has a very cartoony face. It's not a bad thing, but he has less of that unified classic style to his face. Although I think the rest of his body still looks very classics. I think his loincloth is really cool with the scales going down the side and the snake head there right above the fabric piece. And King Hssss has these gross reptilian toes with long toenails. Ugh. Now the most interesting thing about King Hssss is that from the start he's always been able to transform from his human disguise into his snake form. And that started back in the vintage line, and it was true in the 2000X cartoon. Unfortunately, we did not get a snake torso for this King Hssss. The Four Horsemen sculpted it, and it is amazing. But they just couldn't cost it out to fit in this pack because there was so much new tooling and great deco and already a lot of accessories. So they've promised us it's coming later in the line. It'll be packed in with another figure. which kind of stinks for people buying this pack without the subscription because they're going to have to buy some other figure. But if you have the sub, you'll get it later. But I do want to show him real quick with the classic vintage style 2000X King Hssss torso on top, just so you get an idea, even though this torso is not as cool. He just sort of comes apart there at the waist. And that version plugs in right there. The 2000X style one is going to be made up of way more snakes, so it's more cartoon accurate, way more menacing, way cooler than this one. So I'm looking forward to getting it, and maybe I'll display it with the snake torso because it looks really, really great. I hate, though, not being able to display this version also. Here's Ninjor out of the package. You can see he's a ninja dressed in almost all black with some cool red details on his demon hands and feet, his belt, and the dragon symbol on his chest. He comes with a ton of accessories, including a belt, an alternate head, the nunchucks, and a bunch of other accessories I'm going to show you when I flip him around. Alright, a little bit closer look at Ninjor. He's got really cool red glowing eyes in there under his black mask. He's got this cool knife and dragon logo all sculpted in on him. Tons of straps and buckles and things like that. He's got these cool demon hands with like claws on them. And wacky demon feet. When Ninjor was originally released, he was part of a wave of characters that were created basically just sculpting new heads and accessories. They were trying to rush out some product to the market because some other series was delayed or whatever. And so they came up with characters like Ninjor and Clampchamp and King Randor that used other parts. So this guy has the, demon feet with a new head, and they created this crazy demonic Ninja Warrior guy. On his back here, you can see he's got a quiver that clips into his back, and it can hold his sword as well as his bow. Here's the new Ninja Warrior against the vintage Ninjor. I picked this guy up at RetroCon in Oaks, PA in the fall, and really excited to have both versions of him in my collection. It's funny to see the vintage bow is actually slightly bigger than the new classics one, and I love the chain on the vintage one, although this is slightly easier to pose in an action style. Here's Ninjor with his alternate head on. The original one had a cloth shirt and cloth mask you could take off, and so for classics, since they don't do any actual fabric accessories, they just gave us a swappable head. And I think it looks really good. This also gives you another shot of the sword. The blade's slightly bent. I'll have to kind of play with that a little bit to straighten it out, but it has really nice detailing on the handle, and you can see the bow and the quiver there a little bit better. The peg on the back of it actually fits in his hand pretty well, but just so you can see that, and it just plugs into his back. Since Ninjor's ponytail didn't need to hide underneath his mask with this new sculpt, he has a little bit more dynamic and interesting ponytail on the Classics version. Ninja Warrior's final accessory is a ceremonial style belt. It fits on him and it looks good with him, but it was not actually designed for him. There's another character, Jitsu, a guy with a big metallic metal hand, and that character had a belt that looks exactly like this in the 2000X statue line, and they probably wanted to include it with him, but couldn't cost it out or whatever, so kind of like King Hss's snake body and several other characters throughout the line, they just kind of threw it in later somewhere where they could fit it in. And so it's a cool accessory to have with Ninjor, or stick it on your Jitsu figure to complete his 2000X look. This has been an Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.